good win, good effort by our team, especially in the first half to set the tone defensively and to really, I thought we did a good job flying around. We're pretty aggressive in ball screen coverages, and give credit to what Quentin's done with that group. I mean, he's done a great job in his time there at Presbyterian, and he's got a group that really plays hard. I mean, they're tough on the backboards, top 15 really in the country in offensive rebounding, and we knew we were going to have our hands full there. The guard Harrison is really, really good, and we did a really good job on the first half. We let him loose a little bit in the second half, but overall, I thought it was good to build the margin up to that point at halftime. I thought we got a little bit loose in the second half and probably fatigued a little bit. I probably should have inserted one more into the rotation, either Garrett or Pegues, and kept us a little bit fresher. But, still at the end of the day, 14-point win. And, also Alex Hunter becomes the all-time winningest player in Furman history, and really proud of him. He's going to be okay. He was down in the locker room with us. It was a little bit of a scary sight, walking down the court, and but he started kind of coming to a little bit, and he was able to enjoy some time with the team, and he's going to be okay. So with that, I'll take your questions.
Coach, how would you kind of rate the first half tonight, comparatively to the rest of the season, and how important was it coming up to obviously disappointing, frustrating loss Friday?
Yeah, I don't know. Disappointing, frustrating loss Friday. I thought our kids played with a ton of resolve. Obviously, we all wanted to win the game. I didn't think it was a deal with our effort. Obviously, we had to play a little bit cleaner down the stretch in that game as well.
Heartbreaking would be better. Sorry.
Definitely a heartbreaker. And I think the team responded how you would like to see them respond. Don't come into this next game with your head down, right? Come into this next game with some energy about you and some resolve about you. And I thought we did that. To be honest with you, Scott, I don't know how many times we've held a team in the 30s percentage-wise in a half. I think we've done it a few times, but that was definitely one of our better defensive halves of the season. And we were, again, a little bit more aggressive. We got out there and hedged the ball screen a little bit and trapped a couple ball screens and really tried to use our speed to fly around a little bit and make the paint a little harder to access. And I thought that really did. I thought that was good for us. It's funny. And you've heard me say this before, like, if you play the game the right way, it usually balances itself out on both ends. If you fly around on defense, if you're a great teammate, and you move the ball, usually you have a chance to be complete. And I thought we did that for the most part tonight, especially in the first half.
I thought there were maybe, from my perspective at least, a few new defensive wrinkles maybe that you brought into it. And I thought from the outset, is that maybe the best energy you've seen in a while defensively from this team?
Well, it wasn't necessarily anything new. We did a little bit more of our aggressive hedging, than we've done here lately, and we just thought with as good as Harrison is, he's a player. That sidestep three he made late. That's a hard shot, and I really have a lot of respect for him, and really just didn't want to see him in the paint a whole lot, and wanted to keep him out of the middle of the floor the best we could. They have a lot of design actions with him in the left slot to go to his right hand, and we wanted to be aggressive on that. And so you could see it helped us kind of fly around and get some energy. And then, we threw a couple traps in there, and then we jumped in the 1-3-1 right before half. And, I think that's what you got to be able to do. You got to be unpredictable, and you got to be multiple. And I think our team showed some maturity tonight being able to do that.
Struggled a bit last week. He comes out today, has a game high, 21. Could you just speak on what you saw out of Mike tonight?
Yeah, I just thought he played with a joy about him. I thought he played with a great spirit. I thought he looked like he was having a good time out there. Listen, teams are going to have to decide how they want to play us, and we got three guys that have scored 30 points in a game, and that's a rare feat for a team. And when you got two guards that are both all conference players and they're both playing at the level they are, teams really, they kind of got to decide which one they're going to try to focus in on the most. And because of the way Alex has been shooting tonight, their game plan was to take Alex out, and they didn't let him breathe. They stayed with him. They really didn't come off of him at all. And so that opened up some space for Mike to be able to drive, get in the paint a little bit more. And then, I thought Mike did a good job in his shot prep. I thought he shot the ball free. I thought his release was clean, and gave himself, I think he ended up 2 for 3 from perimeter, and that's always a big thing for him. But I thought he thought he had a sense of freedom to him tonight, and I thought it carried over on both ends of the floor, and it was good to see that.
Coach, to start the game, they get 2 putbacks off offensive rebounds. It's like it's kind of been a problem. And you mentioned PC's a terrific offensive rebounding team. Then under the first media timeout, along comes this kid Tyrese Huey, who we've not seen all year. You get an offensive rebound you're in, and his first collegiate shot's a dunk, and then you are up 27-10 5 minutes later. Tell us about him and what led to him seeing the court tonight.
Well, it's I figured I was going to get asked this, like, what took you so long to play this guy? And, Tyrese, I fell in love with Tyrese when we recruited him, and his motor, his intensity, how hard he plays. I mean, if you go back and watch his high school highlights, I mean, he just plays the game so hard. And, I just think we needed that, and it's been my gut for the last couple of weeks. We wanted to try to redshirt him just because, really more so offensively to help him grasp our concepts, to give him a little bit more confidence on that end of the floor. But I tell you what, he's really been working hard, and we keep getting in these games, Scott. And when you break it all down, it kind of ends up being the same thing every game. Okay, great spacing, shot the ball well, scored the ball well, did a really good job in transition D, did a really good job guarding the 3-point line, but let the ball to the paint too much, too high of a percentage at the rim, and then gave up too many rebounds. Well, at some point as a coach, you got to say, all right, we got to figure this out. You got to, you can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And so he's been a guy that's just been consistently rebounding at a top 3 level on our team, right, with Marcus and Jalen Slauson. And we just got to fix it. We got to be able to protect the rim. And it's just like when they started making their run and he got that big block down there. I mean, we need more of those plays. And we can't just put this pressure on Jalen Slauson and making Marcus always play the 4. We got to be able to go sit down and put as much length out there as we can and to be able to grab balls. And, I think that was a situation where I just went with my gut. And I'm not always right with my gut. It was a little bit of a risk. But I practiced him Sunday with the 1s and the 2s, and I told him, I said, look, not totally made my decision. Let's see how this goes. And, man, he had a great practice. I mean, I think he was top 2 or 3 in toughness stats for us, and then did the same thing yesterday. And to be honest with you, I think he was 3rd in rebounding in those 2 days. And if it's what we need and it's a weakness of our team right now, then we got to put guys out there that are willing to do it. And I don't think it's a situation where – I know tonight, we didn't go to Garrett much. This is not an elimination of Garrett. This team's going to need Garrett. And I think Garrett is going to be a really, 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 really – Garrett Heen's going to be an all-conference guy here. Okay, you can mark that down, and especially if he uses that 5th year, his COVID year. There's no doubt in my mind. But, Garrett just needs to continue in the weight room. It's really just the more strength Garrett gets, the more confidence he's going to get. And it's not that Garrett's not trying. It's not that Garrett doesn't want to play well. He's going to be a great ball player. We just need a little bit more time. And then I've got to probably also I got to scheme him a little bit more at the 4 to allow him to not have to go against these matchups where he's giving so much size up every night. And we'll have a couple days to work with that. But I would love to get us to a point where you take the 8 that we played tonight, and you got Heen and you got Pegues as well, and we got 10 available guys. And I do think that we got a little bit tired tonight. I think in that middle stretch of the second half, you could see we got a little bit fatigued. And I would love to be able to be a 10-deep team. And I think Pegues and I think Heen are good enough to help us. And so I think Huey, I had a feeling. I told the staff 10 at the least. 15 is probably going to be the number. Could see him getting up to 20. And we ended up playing him 18 and a half minutes. And he was a +7. And I thought he was worth every single minute he was out there. I thought he played great.
Couple questions. You're at the end of the non-conference now. Now it gets real. You're playing a team that beat Ole Miss in, 8 days. What have you seen from your team progression-wise? Obviously, they're not there yet, I wouldn't think, as a coach. But what do you like? And also, I wanted to ask you about Jalen Pugh. You're not afraid as a coach to reintroduce guys. You don't see that everywhere. Joe Anderson earlier this year reintroduced him, now is playing well. Just comment on Jalen Pugh.
Yeah, I mean, listen, consistency is a trait for all of us, like in life. Like, if you can be consistent and you can show up every day, and you can fight and you can do all the necessary things to help teams win, like you're gonna have a role in some business, some organization, some team, and you're gonna do well. In this day and age, consistency can be tough. I think that there's a lot of different pressures on these players. I think there's a lot of different voices in these players' ears. I think there's a lot of people that want to coach them. Want to tell them, hey, you should be doing this, this, and this. And I think there's conflicting messages. I think there's a lot of different pressures on these guys. It's a little bit unfortunate, but it's just the world we're in. And my job as a coach is to evaluate who's giving us championship level effort and doing it consistently day in and day out. And my job is also to make sure that practice doesn't get stale and that we constantly give guys hope that if they can show us that consistency and they can be dependable in that area, that they're going to be rewarded with an opportunity to play. And, this isn't a deal where, I'm not an AAU coach where I get to, this is just a hobby. Okay. This is what I do to provide for my family. And these aren't personal decisions. These aren't, hey, I like this guy, I don't like this guy. I've got an obligation to put guys out there at this particular time, at this particular day that we feel like gives us the best chance to win. And what I have to go off that on is how they practice and what they look like consistently. And when you get guys that show that level of consistency, Conley Garrison's the same guy every day, okay? Every single day. He's going to come in. He's going to work as hard as he can. I'm going to look at the data. I'm going to look at all the tracking devices. He's going to be one of the highest loads on the team. He's going to fly around. He's going to shoot after practice. He's going to make all the tough plays. And so guess what? His role is consistent. His role is firm. And he's going to help this team win. But if a guy like Joe Anderson is maybe struggling in that area, but then he starts to work through it and he shows that consistency in practice, well, guess what? I'm going to reward that, right? And if other guys get a little bit comfortable, right, human nature, we get comfortable. We get comfortable. And you've got to come out here every single day in this program, and you got to earn what you get. And whatever you get in that game is going to be what you earned in practice. And that's what we do. Like, we stat things. We have numbers. We have, obviously, eyes. I watch film. I watch practice. We meet as a staff, and we figure out, okay, what does this look like? And then as you get in the game, sometimes, unfortunately, the opportunity just doesn't provide itself to play as many as you want. So when you have tie-breaking situations, you got to go with the guy that you feel like, maybe in this week the emphasis has been rebounding. Well, we're gonna play the guy that got a few more rebounds. And so, a guy like Jalen Pugh, he's been top 3 in deflections the last 2 days in practice. Well, I'm gonna put him out there, and he's earned it. And when we put him in at Mississippi State, guess what? His 2 steals and his defensive rebound, it was 25-8, and we put him out there and the game turned, right? And so my job is to reward what I want repeated. And I want guys out there that show a tremendous energy, right? Show a joy to play the game with, that are willing to fly around on defense, that are willing to be great teammates, and that are willing to move the ball. And when we get guys that can do that, right, it's a fun game to watch. And that's what we've got. That's what we got to continue to work through. And when you're going through your valleys, it's the challenge of being able to grow through that to say, okay, this is my countenance that I have to have today. This is my attitude that I have to have today. And then I got to continue to get there. And we got a great group of guys. Like, I'm one of the luckiest coaches in the country. I get to coach a great group of guys. And they push each other, right? They push each other, and it's fun. But I would love to settle in. I would. I think that's important. But I'm also not going to not reward guys that maybe are doing a little bit more in certain areas that the team might need at this time. And then also there's also matchup, situations that we got to look at, and we're gonna consistently and constantly evaluate who's giving us the best effort, who's being the greatest teammate, and who's willing to move the ball offensively.
You mentioned the 1-3 one earlier. It seemed like Marcus Foster was a big part of that up top. You can kind of speak to his performance defensively tonight.
Yeah, I think Marcus did some good things tonight. Played 26 minutes, hit 2 threes, which was great to see. Finished the game with 7 rebounds. Had the 6 points. He was +8 for the night. I think his growth continues to go in the right direction. And he's another guy. I don't want him comfortable. I want him hungry, because I'm just going to tell y'all he has even more potential. I mean, I honestly don't quite know sometimes if Marcus Foster knows how good he could be. He can be a player. I'm talking player. And he's a guy where you see him when his motor's all the way up, and he's also a guy that's long and athletic enough to where he can still be effective when his motor maybe is kind of in the middle. And it's the challenge of getting him to a point where consistently this is where the motor's going to be. And, he can shoot it. I mean, I've been giving him a hard time. I mean, he makes them all in practice, and then he goes out in the game, he's missing them. So I've been messing with him this week, telling him he's practice cash. And he's got to show us. He's good when he's playing with house money. We got to go do it when the game's on. And so we were smiling today when he hit those 2 threes. It was good to see him go in the game. He's really worked on his shot. He's a guy that really knows how to rebound. But he's somebody, I'm telling you, like, once he consistently gets that motor on 10, watch out. I mean, he'll sit down. He'll guard guys inside, outside. He can put the ball on the deck. He can make shots. I think we're going to continue to see him improve.